Hello, hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to chat. It's been a while since I've been live, but today's a huge day for FTO, for all of us. The Diansheng FTO, it showed up. I didn't think it was gonna get here till like late this month. That's what they said. They said like end of June. I've been waiting for this for like 4 years. We've all been waiting for this for so long. Okay, cool. So, brief history lesson for anyone watching that might not be familiar with FTO. FTO is this thing, the face-turning octahedron. It's got 8 sides and it turns on the faces, and it's a really fun puzzle to solve. And it's kind of nothing like any other like WCA event that most people practice. The solve is so unique. Like the method is so unique, turning it is so unique. The algorithms are like very easy to learn. It's quick to pick up. You can learn this thing in like a day, honestly. And it's just so fun. So, this is what I started on. The first FTO I ever speed solved on was this thing. This is a LAN FTO. This sat on my shelf for probably like, damn, 7 or 8 years. Just doing nothing. I like solved it once when I got it. 2020 comes around and I hear that people are speed solving this thing. It's like, damn, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So at a competition, I'm talking to Mr. Speedy Octahedron himself here in chat. And he's showing me how this thing works. I'm like, dude, this thing's awesome. And I learned it that night, and I solved it a whole bunch that night, or I kept trying to. And so I went home, and I dusted this thing off, started solving, did as many mods as I could. This thing has magnets. I drilled magnets into it. The lengths we went to make these things like even sort of viable was insane. One magical day, Speedy Octahedron releases this thing. This is the FTO. He designed these caps that fit onto the Chi Super Ivy Cube, which had come out, which they make this Super Ivy Cube that has the same mechanism as an FTO. So why don't we just cut it up, and put our own stuff on there, and all of a sudden we have this. This is an FTO, a FTO, as we call it. And this is like the best thing that you can get as it is now. I guess until now. Now, this is still problematic, unfortunately. It's really good, I think, by our current standards, it's really good. But it's not, it gets better than this. This thing still pops. That's the biggest problem, is it pops, it catches, it locks, it does all sorts of stuff. A couple of months ago, little well-known company by the name of Diansheng starts teasing that they're going to make an FTO. They post it. They say, we're making an FTO. And we start freaking out. It's like huge news. We've been trying to get this thing mass produced for years now. And then like a couple months later, they reach out to us and they say, do you want to test it? Of course I want to test it. This thing shows up in the mail. And oh my God, I've been waiting for this for 4 years. So we're going to get into it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to see what this thing's all about. Do first impressions, see what it's like, do some solves. Here we are. It's got my name on it. And they spelled it right. A cute little sticker they got. So this is a prototype. This is a prototype puzzle. This puzzle, as of currently, as of June 4th of 2024, is not out yet officially. There may be some changes with the final design. What a cool box. It's just a box, honestly. I'm freaking out because this thing, I'm just so excited, but I like this like purple color to it. Here we go. Face-turning octahedron, magnetic. Galaxy cluster. Oh, here we go. Okay. Little card. I wonder if there's a tutorial in it. Oh! We're going to go through that in a little bit. All right. Plastic wrap is off, and here we are. It feels small. Now, I heard it was going to be smaller, but it does feel small. Here it is next to a standard FTO. You'll see that the FTO is a little bit bigger. It is stickerless, which is cool. I haven't seen a stickerless FTO in person. The gray is like a brownish kind of color. That's interesting. I don't know how well that comes through on the video. Oh, this is fast. Okay, the turning's really light, and the magnets are like medium strength, I'd say. Just like first turns, I like the size. Let's see if we can get some corner cutting out of this thing. Oh, not really. It is tight for what it's worth. It is pretty damn tight. Like a third of a piece. Reverse cutting isn't really there. So off the bat, first impressions, this is better than what we're using right now. That might change once I start solving and really see how it feels, but I like this a lot. Okay. Okay, so since I've started solving FTO, like since the very beginning, I've always used the same exact shades. So this is going to be an interesting change. Okay, 22 to start off with. It's a 2249. I'm hearing people talk about pops. This thing, oh, so the corner cap fell off. Nothing broke, which is nice. I hope that's not going to be the biggest problem here. Okay, so here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to turn on some music, and then I'm just going to try and lock in for a little bit, see what I can get. Oh, wait, it was 1764, average 5. So 2 weeks and about 1,500 solves later, I feel like I've had enough time with this puzzle to give it a good review. So first off, I want to thank Diansheng again for sending this puzzle to me. It's worth noting that this is a prototype and there may be some changes in the final version. So first off, the size. Like I said, this is a little bit smaller than the FTO and the Lan that I've been used to in the past. And for the first couple of days, after any kind of long session, my hands would start to hurt a little bit. But the more and more I got used to it, the less that became a problem. This, of course, is only going to be a problem to people who have been solving FTO prior to the release of the Diansheng. But the reality is the size of this is really nice. It's not too big or too small. It feels really comfortable to turn on. So once I got off stream, one of the first things I did was start messing with the tensions. There's really only a very small usable range of tensions. Too tight, and you start to catch a lot, and too loose, you start to pop, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But as soon as I started turning the screws around, I noticed my first problem. The screws were backing out. I wasn't really thinking of it too much when I was solving, but some of the faces were in fact looser than others. Now that small usable tension range could probably have a lot to do with the springs that are in this puzzle, and Diansheng actually just a couple of days ago announced the final product, and they'll be including an extra set of springs along with the puzzle. So on stream, I had an interesting pop where I had a corner fall off. This is probably the most common pop that I get, but it's not terribly problematic. It mostly happens if I'm flicking a turn too hard. If something's locked up a little bit and I flick the wrong spot on a piece, the corner comes off just like that. The more I got used to the puzzle, the less this started happening, but it did occasionally come up. But the most common pop, and the worst one, is when an edge comes out. Man. Dude. Oh. This type of pop was incredibly frustrating because it felt like I couldn't really predict when it was going to happen. It just kind of did it whenever it felt like it. Sometimes I'd have a really long session where I had zero problems with it, and then I'd get 2, 3, 4 solves in a row where I'd have a massive pop just like that. There's one other type of pop that I've had happen twice. It's very rare and it's not terribly problematic, but it has happened. A triangle pops out every once in a while. Interesting.
I feel like personally if I was...
Ben, look at that. Now this was a problem we had on earlier hardware, and it was great to see at first that this doesn't really happen on this puzzle, and it's still incredibly rare that it does happen, but I have had it. As for the turning of the puzzle was very fast straight out of the box, and no matter what I did to it, it kind of stayed fast. I even added lube at some point just to try and slow it down a little bit, and it did exactly that. It got a little bit slower, and so far it's held the lube really nicely. Unfortunately, the corner cutting didn't really change all that much through break-in. It's still about a third of a piece, and then reverse cutting still pretty much non-existent. And because of that kind of non-existing reverse cutting, it's incredibly locky and catchy. Even the slightest misalignment can lead to a pretty nasty lockup. So this puzzle has an interesting magnet setup where you have magnets coming from the corners to the triangles, but also from the edges to the triangles. Unfortunately, these magnets are just a little bit too weak for my liking, so what I actually did is I added more just on top of the corner magnets. That helped a little bit. I feel like I have a little bit more control of the puzzle. It kind of snaps into place closer to how I would want it. Overall, I really like the Diansheng. I think I'll be using it from now on. Unfortunately, it's not quite the perfect puzzle we FTO solvers were looking for, but it is a massive, massive leap in the right direction. The release of this puzzle means everyone's going to be able to get their hands on it and try speed solving it for themselves. It really is incredible by the standards that we've had in the past, and if you want to pick one up for yourself, it's going to be right around $18. So thank you again to Diansheng for sending me this. If you're interested in buying one for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description down below. And to close out the video, here's the fastest Averager 5 I've been able to get on this puzzle.
Mine the other day, and I was thinking about relearning some last 3 triples stuff. So I was wondering if anybody had gotten any farther than I did.
I was gonna say, Aiden, how many do you think you know right now?
Not a lot. At one point, I knew like 40, I think. But at this point, I've forgotten basically all of the ones that don't involve.
Curious as well.
Well, I have a 13 single, a few 14s, and then my best average of 5 is mid 16.
And you changed the color scheme already on it, right?
I did not change the color scheme, so I just learned the color scheme. I just did a bunch of solves and learned it.
That's
Which
impressive.
not bad for just learning the color scheme, but it is very similar to my old color scheme, so it wasn't too bad. I don't feel like changing it, and I've already gotten used to it, so.
So yours is still in the Diansheng scheme?
Yeah, mine's still in the Diansheng scheme.
Okay.
Have you changed
I
yours yet?
didn't even do a solve before I flipped mine over to land.
Yeah, I was just too scared of breaking anything. So, and the thing is, I already, like, I was very out of practice with FTO.
And I really like your scheme. Like, I've been trying to construct a scheme with, like, a similar principle to mine and yours, but it's like, yours is really good.
Alright, switch to it.
I might switch to it. I do like mine though, like, I'm pretty happy with mine.